970,000.
Over 1 million Lagosians, they know that if you give me your afternoon, I will give you hard facts.
Well done, Sandra, on all you do, going beyond the headlines and focusing on the facts.
I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. First hard fact of the day: Bola Tinubu has 3 more days to submit his ministerial nominees. 3 more days. It's been 57 days since he was sworn in on May 29th, and the Constitution demands that he do it in 60 days. Again, before he was sworn in, Delalake, his special aide, said that a month maximum is enough for any serious government to form its cabinet and put a structure of government in place after the swearing-in, end quote. In 3 days' time, Lagos will be at 60 days. 57 days gone. I'll remind you that in 1999, it took President Obasanjo 5 days to nominate his ministers. We had that list by June 4th. I'll remind you that in 2003, it took President Obasanjo 25 days to nominate his ministers. We had that list by June 23rd. And in 2011, it took President Jonathan 30 days to nominate his ministers. We had his own list by June 28th. 3 more days. We'll see what happens. I've got a second hard fact of the day for you. $70,000. That's how much cash an Eco Hotel employee found and returned to a guest. Her name is Ngozi Mary Kekwaru, and she's getting lots of praise and lots of attention on social media for doing the right thing in the face of massive temptation. It's almost 60 million naira that this woman returned. Almost 60 million. So yeah, great stuff. I've got a third hard fact of the day. The Super Falcons of Nigeria are the only African team to get a point out of their first group stage match at the Women's World Cup. Zambia, South Africa, and Morocco, they all lost their openers. Zambia chopped 5 goals from Japan. Morocco swallowed 6 from Germany. Super Falcons drew their own match with our second country, Canada. And I'm super proud of them. Well done to the Super Falcons. I hope that we can do even better in the remaining 2 group matches. 1 million Lagosians cannot be wrong. Thanks for listening to Hard Facts. I've got a great show for you today, starting with the big 3. Let's talk about the Lagos state government burying over 100 EndSARS victims. Then let's talk about the increase in Unity Schools tuition. And then let's talk about APC Southwest accusing the Tinubu Administration of marginalizing them in favor of Lagos. On Madam Landlord, we'll talk about what happens when Madam Landlord tries to make a new tenant pay an old tenant's electricity bill. And on the big hard fact, let's talk about how you are handling the hike in fuel prices. How you day. We'll have that conversation at 5. At 5, you just give me a call and vent. Pretend I'm your therapist today. I'm not a therapist. I don't have a license to be a therapist, but venting about these things that we are all dealing with at this time can be quite cathartic. So 5 p.m. Let's do that exercise. As usual, we'll have news updates at the top of the hour every hour, and then I'll hand you over to the newsroom for the newsroom. But I am Sandra Ezekwesili, Lagos. These are your hard facts.
The big weekend.
Is one advert in 3 years enough to raise awareness about 103 unclaimed bodies. One advert in 3 years. Is that enough to raise awareness about 103 unclaimed bodies? How can government fund unity schools while keeping them affordable for all families? Are there cracks within the Southwest APC? It was a big weekend, Lagos. Let's talk. And let's start with this raging controversy about the 103 bodies that the Lagos state government is spending 60 million naira to bury. A memo surfaced showing an approval for this mass burial of bodies from the EndSARS protests. Critics of the government say that this is evidence that bodies were recovered from the Lekki toll gate after the Lekki massacre. But the government insists that that's not true. Let me read you the full statement from the State Ministry of Health so that you have full context about the government's position on this thing. Quote, the attention of the Lagos state government has been drawn to some social media publications about a purported mass burial plan for casualties of the 2020 EndSARS incident. Peddlers of the news are deliberately misinterpreting and sensationalizing a letter from the Lagos State Government Public Procurement Agency titled Letter of No Objection Mass Burial for the 103 the year 2020 EndSARS victims. And this letter goes on to say, or this statement goes on to say, that this publication is being used to misinform the public, stir public sentiment, and cause public disaffection against the Lagos state government. While the Lagos state government would not have dignified the mischievous elements peddling such news with a response, we could consider it appropriate to set the records straight and draw the attention of well-meaning citizens to the antics of some unscrupulous elements who are hell-bent on disrupting the peace and tranquility of Lagos with distorted news and half-truths about the PPA letter. It is public knowledge that the year 2020 EndSARS crisis that snowballed into violence in many parts of Lagos recorded casualties in different areas of the state and not from the Lekki toll gate as being inferred in the mischievous publications. For the records, the Lagos State Environmental Health Unit picked up bodies in the aftermath of EndSARS violence and community clashes at Fagba, Ketu, Ikorodu, Orile, Ajegunle, Abulegba, Ikeja, Ojota, Ekoro, Ogba, Isolo, and Aja areas of Lagos State, including a jailbreak at Ikoyi prison. The 103 casualties mentioned in the document were from these incidents and not from the Lekki toll gate as being alleged. For the avoidance of doubt, nobody was retrieved from the Lekki toll gate incident. In the aftermath of EndSARS violence, the Office of the Chief Coroner invited members of the public through public adverts and announced who had lost their loved ones and whose relatives had been declared missing between 19th and 27th October from various clashes, as mentioned above, to the Department of Pathology and Forensic Medicine of the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, LASUTH, to help with identification of these casualties deposited in state-owned morgues. Relatives were to undergo DNA tests for identification purposes. It is important to state categorically that nobody responded to claim any of the bodies. However, after almost 3 years, the bodies adding to the congestion of the morgues. The congestion of our public morgues is a periodic and regular exercise approved by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to free up space in mortuaries that have large number of unclaimed bodies. End quote. Now, the statement I just read to you in full, I read it in full so that you have the full context and nobody will say, Sandra, that's not what the government said. That statement was from Dr. Olusegun Oboye, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health. Now, when this statement came out on Twitter, critics of the Lagos state government pushed back. The first pushback is timing. They want to know why the government waited until the memo leaked to address this issue. Wouldn't it have made more sense if over the past couple of years the government had been repeatedly blowing the alarm that they have all these unclaimed bodies from EndSARS and that they want the loved ones to come and claim them, or they'll be forced to bury them en masse? So that's the first criticism. The second criticism that the Lagos state government is getting as a result of this: wouldn't that have eliminated any possible accusations of a cover-up? Now, the government has pointed out that it did post an advert asking people to come and claim bodies, and we covered it here on Hard Facts Lagos. If you remember, when the Lagos state government put out that advert, we covered it here on Hard Facts. But the government's critics are saying that one or two newspaper adverts are not the most effective way to tell people to come and identify the bodies. After all, these were recovered from specific areas, according to them. So wouldn't it have made more sense for the government to work with the LCDAs and the communities, identify families whose loved ones went missing during the violence? Wouldn't that be an easy way to identify bodies if that was what we wanted to do? And then the critics of the Lagos state government point to the toll gate explanation that we got from the Lagos state government, because this press statement says that none of the bodies are from the toll gate. None from the toll gate. Now, Lagos, back in 2020, the governor said that 3 people died there. Were those bodies not recovered? Were they identified? How you see this situation? Have you been following it? Did the government do enough to have these victims identified as far as you're concerned? Have they done enough to erase the suspicions that these are indeed Lekki massacre victims? Again, I read you the full statement of the Lagos state government. 070-0993-993-993 01465-7190. We've got WhatsApp as well. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. 080-959-75805. And of course, there's Twitter at Nigeria Info FM, and there's Facebook Nigeria Info 99.3. Hello, thanks for calling us.
Sandra.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Why are you congratulating me?
First, on your show.
Oh, I'm glad you're here today. Welcome.
I'm Joshua.
Joshua, welcome.
From
Welcome. Yes, Joshua, talk to me.
What I want to say exactly is that you see this Lekki toll gate. The truth will still come out. There is nothing hide under this sun, Sandra. Nothing a man will do under this sun that will be hidden forever. Whatever they like, let them continue hiding it, tempting it. The truth one day it will come out. The only thing they can do is to come out just to Nigerians and the blood that was shed will be. You cannot kill human being and you believe that is all when they are not animals. So that is just my own take.
All right, Joshua, thank you very much for calling to share your thoughts. 99.3.
Good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon. What's your name, ma'am?
This is Rita calling you from Lakwe.
Welcome, Rita from Lakwe.
Sandra, a lot is hidden inside that word, that letter of address. Fine, as you said it, Sandra, you've addressed it. At the end of the day, when the white paper came out, they said only one person. So is it because they claim that they've settled the family of that person means there was not any dead body from Lekki toll gate? Please, see, I don't know. As for me, politicians, I don't know what they are hiding. Or it's just that I don't know, Sandra. I don't even know how to put it that the truth is hidden from them, that they cannot even say the truth from their mouth. What are we going to do at the end of the day? Fine, all the ransom. or move them out from that seat. You know that seat is so important. Who are you leading? You are leading people that at the end of the day, when they are being killed, nobody will come out and testify that, yes, my people are being killed. I do not want it. So what are you not doing for the people? What is the leadership over there now? It's just because of that seat and the money that you cannot say the truth again. So why are you not the leader? Why are you a leader of a country or a state that you cannot even come out and say the truth? The people do not want you. This thing you did is not even... I could remember, I told Sharif this morning, when he interviewed the governor of Lagos State, he brought it out and said, people are now bringing it that we are supposed to move out of this. But has he done the right thing when we have 103 people that you want to bury for 60 million? Is it the right thing that the governor himself did? Because the election was coming, he wanted to win the election, and he was making that statement. Only that statement, Sandra. I never said I'm going to vote for APC because that thing got me angry. I know of somebody that died, not in the toll gate. I told Sheriff this morning. And a lot of bodies were even burned. Some at Jakonde there. They burned the bodies. So you pick them up. Who brought out those dead bodies? Was it not seeing this EndSARS or whatever? Because of what happened at the toll gate, that was why people were angry, destroying things, and some other people were killed. So those that were killed over there, we don't want to say anything. It's just because the soldiers went there to shoot. See, the truth will surely come out, and people are going to pay for it. Whether you being governor or president, they're going to pay for it at the end of the day when the truth ends up coming out.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. 99.3.
Sandra, how was your weekend?
It was short. How was yours?
It was short. We thank God for the gift of life.
Abby?
We are here again today. My daughter, they laugh at I want to talk. this one, a market woman, though. You know, see, I don't ask you what they say. This, our country, that the resident of Satan be this, where he balance put. Somebody go say they go church, You know what people talk through. He good. We're gonna praise thy love, sing, praise. Hallelujah. So now, the first time when he come out, when he talk, say the thing you just raised just now, say 3 people. He share that thing come out for the memory. His wife come out. Those dead bodies, now they are made a burial. God will judge every one of us. All our iniquity will come out at the end of the day.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. 99.3. Hello.
Good afternoon, Sandra. 99.3. Good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
My name is Fortunate.
Talk to me, Fortunate.
I'm calling from Ikorodu.
Welcome. Talk to me.
Yeah, you see the issue at Lekki Tollgate because it has drew international community attention.
Okay.
There is never a time that the Lagos State government is going to own up to its responsibility of what happened there. But me personally, I can tell you where I was in Bagada. I was working in the hospital then.
Okay.
On Bagada William Street, 2 persons were gunned down. 2 were rushed into our hospital. One of them, the brain was shattered. We could not respond to it because those boys who said we must respond to the treatment. I remember then we have to take them in the ambulance and rush there to the Bagada General Hospital. And at the end of the day, I guess the 2 of them later died. But it's not about the issue of what happened at the toll gate alone. Every Nigerian has a right to be alive. Whether they were killed at the toll gate or they were killed in other parts of Lagos, it was the issue that the police has to own up to and the government has to own up to. So we should not be talking, the government should not be talking about an issue that nobody is coming up for the toll gate. What of the people that were killed in other parts of Lagos? Is this not part of the EndSARS killing? So they must own up to its responsibility and compensate this family. And compensate them.
Thank you for calling. All right, we've got about 1 minute before we have to take a break. So, hi, what's your name, sir?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
My name is Sandra.
Welcome. You've got 1 minute.
Yeah, so I'm just short of words right now, and the things I've been seeing online, the comments from the Nigeria government, especially the Lagos State government, And the governor of Lagos State himself, I'm shocked. Sometimes I think, the devil was actually a Nigerian. So that is it.
All right, you're shocked, he says. Okay. Lagos, we'll take a break. When we come back from this break, let's talk about this story some more, and then we'll talk about the increase in school fees for those of you who have children in unity schools. Now, of course, for those of you who have children in private schools, I'm sure that September school fees will also increase as well. What are your thoughts about that? We'll have that conversation after the break. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. You're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Sincerely, I don't want to wait till I graduate from this school before I think of what to do with my life. Exactly. I am going to seriously work on my music skills. Let me use my talent well, I beg. I would like to be a radio presenter, but I don't know how to go about it. But why is Timmy so quiet today?
Sorry, ladies. I'm taking this interesting course on how to become a professional scriptwriter. You too can also learn how to become a radio presenter on Wazobia Academy.
Wazobia Academy?
Yes, Wazobia Academy provides accessible and affordable online training in filmmaking, music business, fashion, radio hosting, and lots more. You also stand a chance to be selected for internship in leading production companies, radio stations, music, and fashion studios for hands-on experience. It's easy. Simply log on to www.wazobiaacademy.com or call 0908-826-5038 for more details.
Wazobia Academy. Learn and lead.
Number 1001 reason to love Golden Penny pasta. It's rich in protein. Number 1002 contains fiber. Number 1003, it tastes great.
Number 1004,
You see, there are many reasons to love Golden Penny pasta. It gives that delicious taste with good nutrients. So go ahead, enjoy Golden Penny pasta and find more reasons to love it. Golden Penny pasta, great taste, good nutrition. We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
If you just tuned in,
Talk station. The conversation never ends.
Yes, I want to respond to Amorichi's psychophancy. Let the person walk, we will vote him. You see, the person doesn't have to even tell us to wait for the godfather to take him again. You carry your files everywhere. Who won't give you job?
But, I mean, some people have succeeded. Unfortunately.
So, let's not lie.
No.
It's 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
if you just tuned in, I'm Sandra Ezekwesili and you're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Apologies about that interruption. You missed us talking about the Lagos State government's reaction to 103 bodies that the government plans to bury with 60 million naira. A memo surfaced online showing approval for this mass burial of bodies from the EndSARS protests. And I read to you the statement from the Ministry of Health. The PermSec from the Ministry of Health said to us that people are misconstruing the document that surfaced online, that in fact none of the 103 bodies found were from the Lekki Tollgate massacre, that these bodies are from everywhere else but the Lekki Tollgate. People are talking about the timing of this. You know, why did the government wait until this memo leaked before government started speaking on having 103 bodies in a mortuary that are unclaimed? And I reminded you that we covered when the government put out an ad on several newspapers saying that people should come and identify family members. Now, some people have said, why didn't the government repeatedly blow alarm that they have 103 bodies unclaimed from EndSARS, because if the government had done that, would people be right now accusing the government of a cover-up 3 years later? And then, of course, I mentioned that there's the point about the toll gate as well. This press statement says that none of the bodies are from the toll gate. But if you remember back in 2020, Governor said 3 people died there. One of them had blunt force trauma and was taken to the hospital. Were those bodies not recovered? Were those bodies not identified? I don't know. What do you think of this situation? Do you think the government did enough, has done enough to erase the suspicions that these are Lekki massacre victims? 0700993 We've got WhatsApp. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. 99.3, hello.
Hello.
How are you? What's your name? Good afternoon.
Hi, Alma.
Welcome.
On the line.
Welcome. Talk to me.
Sister, it is very, very unimaginable and highly exclaimable that government is increasing tuition fee now, which will be the least something that is supposed to be facing now. One, they should review back what ASU was asking in terms of infrastructure and the facility and the library and the short loan for students. Like 2 million naira for students that need it. Not be saying you go tell me anybody when Papa they collect less than 40,000, now you go qualify. No. Understand me? So they should do something for schools, give them loan. Secondly, consider mass burial for EndSARS victims. And it is a abomination in Igbo land, burying people that have family. It is very abominable. Call their family, give them 500,000, like a man who said in Sandra Ezekwesili. Concerning Southwest being marginalized, according to them. Where did Southeast go talk? Since 1970, reintegration, reconstruction, and rehabilitation. Only kind of we not see. Where do we go? Where do we go talk? No, where do we kill a fast talk? Kill a face talk.
Okay, 99.3, hello. Sorry about that. Give us a call back if you can. 99.3, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
This is Monday calling from Solari.
Talk to me.
Honestly, I'm pained.
Okay.
Seriously pained. The life of Nigerians be cut out in such a manner, in such a cruel manner, and even without no empathy about these souls created by God Almighty, that none of us can create even one part of the body which God has created and given to us freely. You could remember very vividly that during the report of the committee being set up to look into the EndSARS problem in Lagos State, there was a report that came up that 99 bodies were recovered. And immediately, few hours later, the matter changed and the lawyer was threatened, allegedly. The chairman of the committee was somehow threatened, allegedly. These are the problems we're having here. Let me tell you, there's one thing someone says from one of the northern leaders, say conscience is an open wound. Only the truth will heal it. It's only truth will heal Nigerian problem, no matter what. For all this blood slaughtering of Nigerian citizens, and thinking because they want to remain in power, to remain in authority, Nigeria will never see progress until these leaders be able to confess. They all must face the judgment. They all must face it. Even with their children, they will face it. God knows it, and it will surely come to pass.
Okay, thank you very much for calling. Let's bring you our second story from the weekend as well. If you have a child who goes to a Unity school, their school fees have been increased. Now, federal government approved this increment on May 25th. May 25th was the final week of Buhari's administration. That's why the Tinubu administration is shouting, "No be we do it, no be we, no be we, no be we." But at the same time, the Tinubu administration does have the power to reverse this increment if they want to. So while they did not initiate it, they are choosing to continue it. And again, this brings up the question of ministers. By now, if we had a new education minister in place who could take responsibility for policy direction, would we have some of these issues? Would perhaps the minister be in front of journalists answering, okay, well, this is why we have to do this at this time, or, well, we didn't initiate this, but we think it's a good idea, and these are the reasons why. I don't know. But we don't have one. Now, let's get into the details. The fees for a JS1 student are going up from 45,000 to 100,000. Fees for the higher classes are also going up. Tuition itself will remain free, but we're going to get increments in other things like boarding fees, uniforms, textbooks, deposit, exercise books, prospectus, caution fee, ID cards, stationery, clubs, society, sports, extra lessons, insurance, all of those things. The position of the ministry is that the old fees cannot actually pay for everything a student needs during a term. They also say that money from the government does not always come to the school in time. So the schools rely on the fees to handle stuff like boarding and feeding and healthcare. Maybe this is why when you go to a sick bay in a secondary school, it's only paracetamol they have there. Maybe. But it sure raises a question about, subsidization. Even if government cannot subsidize everything, isn't education one of the things that government must subsidize? If we get to the point where parents must pay for everything their wards need in school, won't we end up with a situation where the children of the poor cannot get a basic education? If that happens, doesn't that mean that they are being condemned to be poor, generation after generation? Do you believe that it is accurate to say that government can no longer subsidize unity schools? Because unity schools, again, I'm not talking to those of you who have money and your children are in private schools. I'm talking to those of you who have your children in unity schools. We're talking specifically about unity schools now. Is it accurate to say that government can no longer subsidize unity schools? Or do you believe that government needs to make this a priority and find other places where it can cut costs to make sure that public secondary education is available and affordable for the brightest young minds? I'm thinking about people like Deborah Pamzat and people like, I'm trying to remember their names now, like Ramadan. Children like this are going to unity schools, bright young minds. I'm not saying that for them they cannot afford to be in unity schools, but what if they can't? If they can't, it means that I would not have been able to meet them, for I beg to differ. You wouldn't have met them, for I beg to differ. So is it accurate to say, Lagos, that government can no longer subsidize unity schools? Do you think government needs to make this a priority? Find other places to get the money from, to cut costs from, and put the money in education for secondary school students? I don't know. What do you think? 070-0993-993-993. 01465-7190. 01465-7190. Hello. Thanks for calling us.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, ma'am?
My name is Eniola.
Welcome, Eniola. Talk to me.
Concerning the unity school matter, I went to unity school.
Okay.
I'm very surprised that the fees increasing 100,000. During our days, we're paying 30,500 as everything. Let's say PTA was 7,000. Even with that, some people do not pay.
Yeah.
People come to school like begging to let their children enter. They'll pay later.
Right.
100,000. You don't see people taking their children to unity school. Do you think they don't want to take their children to private schools?
I don't understand what this government is doing, and it's just really annoying. Thank you.
Eniola, thank you very much for calling to share your thoughts. 99.3.
Sandra.
Ma.
Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name?
Why you dey laugh now? I don't even talk, you dey laugh.
The way they call my name, it ginger me.
Oh, Sandra, don't tire of our politicians, Jare. They don't say what they don't, they lie to us. So this one no go be new to us, yeah?
Okay.
Maybe they thought say they no send soldier go. Then send soldier go. They no key. Then key. That's so they draw themselves out. Draw their leg out. Draw their mouth out. No problem. Make we they see. Truth don't they come out. The truth must surely prevail, no matter how long it takes. You see, for school, if I thought they put on 1 million, my children then go. This regime go better for me and my children, and for you too. With this,
God bless you as well. Thank you very much for calling. 99.3. Hello.
Yeah, Sandra. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
You have Emmanuel on the line. I'm calling you from Ekwe.
Welcome, Emmanuel.
Sandra, I foresee the next 10, 15, 20 years being a disaster for Nigeria.
Why do you think so?
There are going to be a lot of bandits, on the streets of this country.
Why do you think so?
Because if you don't educate, the young ones, if they are not enlightened, I wonder what will happen to such a society. The government is not doing as much, before, and now the parents who are trying to do their best for their kids, the motivation is taken out. With all these ideas, how do you think parents are going to meet up? Those who are struggling, who have promised, who are earning so little, but who have promised to send their children to school, their kids to school, don't you think they will be demotivated to send their children to school? That is for that. I foresee the nearest future being, I don't want to spell doom, but people should prepare for the worst if the government is not fixing some things about the education. And then for the Lekki toll gate, issue, it's painful the kind of people we have at the position of authority. People who do not really care about, they claim they govern us, but I don't really know the kind of people they are, because the thing happened then, a lot of lights came up. We had the Inspector Fash who detected, was it a camera or something? Did they investigate anything out of the camera? What is the position of things? And now, during the Emefiele crisis, how many people did they pick up on the streets of Nigeria? During the height of COVID, how many people did they pick up on the streets of Nigeria? Then we'll be able to, compare the notes, if, yes, they really pick these people up, how many days did it take them to pick these people up in the street, on the streets of Lagos? Vis-a-vis, how many people were picked up? Then let's compare the note and let's see if people were not picked up in Lekki. Why did they clean up that environment in the morning of that day, very early in the morning? There are a lot of questions that are begging for answer that I know they will never ever give us answers to this question. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you, Emmanuel, and good afternoon to you. I've got messages on WhatsApp, so let's take a look at it. Bola from Lekki says, the cry about Unity School is hypocrisy. You cannot find the children of the poor there. The pupils are children of bureaucrats and government officials. Even the 100,000 naira boarding fees cannot carry the cost. There are only 104 Unity schools, and government is spending more on them than over 1 million public schools. The parents of Unity Schools pupils can either withdraw them and take them to private school or public school. Okay. Victor from Eleganza says, I have a plan of going back to school, but as it is now, I am giving up. Olushoga Ajayi says, even with the obvious truth, some people are still claiming that nobody died at the toll gate and that the 103 corpses are police officers and some others within Lagos State, but not the toll gate. My resolution is that everyone has the courage to take full responsibility when they are wrong, and it's okay that way. Posterity will judge us all. Olushoga Ajayi with that message from Ikorodu. Saken says, Sandra, so none of these bodies had IDs on them. Interesting. Everything about this matter reeks of dishonesty. I regret giving the Lagos State government benefit of doubt. Saken with that message. Osage says, does this increment affect military schools? Are they unity schools? I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look that up and then come back to you. Ruth O'Day from Awaya says, during the EndSARS protest, I got a call from my friend. I got a call that my friend was shot at the toll gate that night. I was in Ibadan then. His family tried their best to get his body, but they were threatened by the police. They had to let go of the body because they spent so much traveling from Cross River to Lagos to follow up. At the end, the family had a funeral for him without his body. Ruth O'Day from Awaya with that particular message. All right, thank you very much for sharing that account. We've got this one here. I thought someone who said no one died at the Lekki toll gate, but DJ Switch, an eyewitness, said she saw ambulance come several times to pick up corpse in Lekki toll gate. The Lagos state government will soon admit that the Lekki massacre happened, just the way they're paying 60 million to bury 103 bodies. Okay. We've got Kali on Christmas who says, Sandra, the truth is out already. They can deny all they want, but mark my word. Years from now, someone among them will write a book and tell it all, which seems to be the normality for those that are in power. Why not say the truth when you are in power? It's a shame. Kali on Christmas, thanks for your message. This one is from Dampi. Dampi says, Sandra, let me tell you something. The government knows what happened, and today they are coming out to say they want to bury them in mass graves. This story is story of the week, and it will not end because people were killed while singing the national anthem. But the government's trying to deny. The truth will come out one day, because one day bushmeat will catch the hunter. Dampi from Magodo. Thanks for your message. 99.3, hello.
Hey, Sandra, I greet you.
I greet you too. Welcome.
Yes, do you know that up to today, I still don't know what really happened at the toll gates 3 years ago. A lot of us are confused. And the Lagos state governor brought this confusion upon some of us. After the interview, or before the interview, Becky Anderson of the CNN, there was a report that there was nobody that died. Later, he came up and said 2 people died. That confused a lot of us. And there were reports, several reports, a lot of distortions. Some people said the bodies were taken to the hospital. Some people said the military took some bodies away. That message, what the governor said, caused a lot of, distortion amongst a lot of people. That is why we cannot really ascertain what happened, because the last has not been heard about this issue. Now, how do we differentiate those that were protesting and those that hijacked it? Because a lot of people were killed. Somebody was shot here in Surulere. He was not at the toll gate. Where is the body? Is it part of this 103? The government has raised unnecessary suspicion for itself. And it will be difficult for the government to convince people that what they have said was true. So, as it is now, as a country or as a state, why is it difficult for us to really ascertain what really happened when issues are raised up? Do you know that it's a shame to us as a country up to today, after many years, after 40 years, we don't know who killed the regular? We don't know that there are people that have died in this country today. You cannot say who killed Future Winners. Forget about any other thing you hear from anywhere. So these are the things, the problem we have as a country. Governors will progress the error by distorting us and distorting a lot of minds. So as it is now, the last of that target issue has not been heard. Thank you.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much. I'm not sure that as many people are confused as Kevin from Surulere is, though, because you have those who watched the tollgate massacre live on Instagram, and they feed Photoshop Instagram live. I know that a lot of you have used Instagram live before, or you have joined Instagram live before. They feed Photoshop that one. So I'm sure you saw that. I'm sure that a lot of people have also seen several reports from several media organizations, Premium Times here in Nigeria, Foundation for Investigative Journalism, CNN, BBC, DW, NTA, several reports of what happened that night. Ralph from Satellite Town says, it's really funny. First, nobody died. Now 103 people in different locations. Okay. We've got this person, Adegboyega Adedeji. Adeboyega says, why keep people's dead bodies for 3 years, not allowing their families to have access to them? Who does that? And you want to give them mass burial? This is satanic. All right. Mac Andy in Ikoyi says, good day. It's a lot of Yoruba that unfortunately I cannot read, but I think it ends up meaning those who kill by the sword must die by the sword. Makandi, thanks for your message. We've got Tunde from Ijegun who says, those who died are those who went to burn police stations and those who face police with the steel K in their hand. Okay. I wonder why this is a topic. Please talk about what happened to the youth at Ezu River in Anambra during Obi's tenure. Okay. Thank you very much. Well, if there's new information that comes out from the dead bodies in the Ezu River, we'll definitely talk about it. Unfortunately, today, the latest information out is this leaked memo that the state government itself has addressed. That's why we're talking about it. I know you're not in the industry, so you don't know how news works. But thank you for your message today. Romfola from Isolo says, the reason why the government of Lagos State waited this long before ordering this mass burial is just because of the past election. They knew that if they brought it up before the election, it would affect them negatively. Romfola, thanks for your message. Let's come back to the phone lines now. 99.3, hello.
Hello, Sandra, my sister. How are you?
I'm very well. What's your name, sir?
This will be calling from Ikeja, Sandra.
Welcome, Obi. Talk to me.
Yeah, Sandra, do you know, I put it to you, do you know how this memo leaked?
How?
It was the dead bodies that went and leaked it. The spirit of the dead went and, because there's no way an insider there. They're all government officials. How do you think they would have leaked the memo? Let me tell you something. For people still supporting this government, people supporting what happened in, they say that what happened in Lake Iriam, just like the person that sent message in about Oji River. Let me tell you, if he sees anybody wearing white at his back at night, let him know, let him run. These are the dead people at the toll gate. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for calling. It's a funny thing to say. 99.3, hello. Oh, sorry about that. Call me back if you can. Okay. Now, the APC Southwest, be like say they fight. There's a power tussle in there. Right before the weekend, we saw this letter from the Southwest APC support groups to the president. They condemned what they called a Lagosizing of the APC Southwest. According to them, at least 13 appointments in the new admin have gone to Lagos-based politicians, while APC loyalists from the other Southwest states are still waiting. We heard directly from Dele Fulani, one of the leaders of the SASG, and he said that anything one wants to do now, they have to go to Lagos politicians to get clearance for it. What do you think about this quarrel? It reminds me of something I once heard. Marginalization never ends. By the time you divide on regional lines, there's still state versus state. You now divide along state lines, it becomes local government versus local government. Inside the local government, community versus community. Inside the community itself, marginalization still there. So here's something for you to think about. We'll go off on a break, and when we come back, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Is there a solution to marginalization, or are we always going to have situations where some group is claiming that they're being marginalized? 0700-993-993-993 01465-7190. What do you think about this APC Southwest drama? We're getting lots of complaints that our app is down. We apologize for that. Our tech team is working round the clock to fix that problem. Lots of complaints from several quarters about our app being down. We have seen these complaints, and we're working on getting it back up. We're so sorry about that. In the meantime, you can listen on www.nigeriainfo.fm.
That special secret that awakens taste buds. Mouth-watering wonder with awesome aroma. Terra seasoning cube.
My children are athletes from the moment they
NS snacks into their lunchbox. I'm giving them a delicious snack with the goodness of malt, milk, cocoa, and crunchy Niger-grown maize containing calcium, iron, and fiber.
Milo and Snacks, snack of future champions to help your kids refuel and keep winning all day. Milo, energy to go further. Milo! 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
0700-993-993-993-01465-7190. By the way, between 4 and 5, what happens when Oga tenant packs out without clearing the electricity bill? Who should pay that bill? We'll have that conversation between 4 and 5 on Madam Landlord. 99.3. Hello?
Hello?
Thanks for calling. What's your name, ma'am?
My name is Mary.
Hi, Mary. Welcome. Talk to me.
It's for the imagination. I think that there is a solution for the imagination.
Marginalization. Talk to me, okay?
I think so that we are still going to be having problem about the imagination.
Okay. Okay, all right. Mary doesn't think that there's a solution to marginalization. Thank you very much, Mary, for calling. 99.3, hello.
Sandra, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Talk to me.
Yeah, you have Mr. Mba online.
Welcome, Mr. Mba. Talk to me.
Let me talk about the marginalization, about the economy.
What about my city south? Say they've been marginalized.
Hello.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
Actually, I would like to remain anonymous.
That's
There's
fine.
an information I want to share to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Concerning the EndSARS,
Mm-hmm.
I was at the toll gate that very day. And this is the first time I'm calling your program because I've been listening to your program and you guys have been doing a whole lot of good job. And God will continue to bless you. You see, that very day, I was at the toll gate, DJ Switch, all of us who were there when those army came. You see, at first, they were shooting up, but before then, they never knew some of our guys have gone to Oriental. They were upstairs with drones. And some were at 1004 building. While some have gone close to Bonny Camp with cameras unknown to them. While those of us who were there, our phones were on, we were with our cameras. So when they came that day, the soldiers, they came, first they were shooting up. So some set of us went to the other side of the toll gate. That's where you have the hotel, the Oriental Hotel. And we were holding our hands with our flags up, trying to let them know that we are for peace. We are not fighting against them. But they were shooting up expecting us to run. But we did not run because we were unarmed. So we understood that in the military, when you come to a place and you see them holding the nation's flag, you are not permitted to shoot. That was the training idea we had. We never knew we were dealing with monsters. Hello, can you hear me?
I'm here, yeah. I'm hearing you. Mm-hmm.
So they opened fire and they started shooting. And on that straight line, 3 people I were holding dropped dead. I ran to the other side. And when we got to the other side, they've already rounded us up. So I was at the middle. DJ Switch also dived at the middle. We were there. So they opened fire and we were firing people directly. So at the end of the day, after firing, our cameras were still on and we were taking those shots on live streaming. We were doing the live streaming. So those bullets, cartridges and live bullet cartridges that dived into our middle, we were able to gather some. And because we were many, we were at the middle, we were just covering it. DJ Switch was doing the online streaming and also the snapshots of the live bullet ammunition.
I will say that I'm really sorry about your experience. I'm really sorry that you dealt with that, you survived that. I'm also grateful that you survived that. I wish we had more time so that I'll ask you, a number of questions, chief of which is, how have you dealt with the trauma of experiencing that day? But we have to go. We have news coming at 4, and it's already 4.
It's 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. And now the business news.
The
federal government is assuring Nigerians of its plans to ease the pains of the hike in petrol price. Tweeting about this over the weekend, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, said President Tinubu came prepared with a plan which he would bring to life. Akume maintained that the government was working round the clock to normalize and bring solutions that would ease the pain. While describing the subsidy regime as regressive, the SGF said the country needed to end the subsidy. He, however, urged Nigerians to be patient, saying there was a clear economic restoration plan. Electricity distribution companies in Lagos want Lagosians to believe that the metering code to be introduced soon in Lagos is not for electricity tariff increase. The new metering code is called Standard Transfer Specification. The code, according to the discos, is to upgrade old meters to STS rollover software, which is of an international standard. Recall that electricity customers already advised to upgrade their meters before the 1st of August by the distribution companies in order to avoid losing the meters. Vice President Kashim Shettima is in Rome, Italy for the United Nations.